for you guys. I know that you guys have understood one thing, that any consulting or any kind of service comes into play only when there is a problem. You know that if you do not have any health related problem, you do not want to even listen about a doctor, right or wrong? If you don't have any health problem, you don't even want to talk about a doctor, right? If you don't have any taxes, will you be willing to spend like even a second of your life thinking about a CA? Do you think that a kid who is 5 years old is thinking about a CA? What is he thinking about? How to get that chocolate, right? What cute face to make and ask for that new toy? Or how will he cry at the right time, at the right place, so that his pending wish for so many days, his parents will eventually have to fulfill? Those are the things that he cares about, right? Do you care about how to get that chocolate? Is that the thing on your mind, like 24 hours a day or for a long time? No, right? So that's the thing that you need to understand, that the same thing in business also, right? Many times I've seen people coming to me in interviews and coming up with all the technical gyan, and I know that they know a lot of technical stuff, but somehow when I interview them, they are not able to show it to me. How will they solve my problem? It's like, I am sitting here with a plier and a screwdriver, and I have both of these things at my hand. You can consider this plier and screwdriver as Python and statistics, right? But the problem is that I have both of these things at my hand, but I have no idea what I do with these. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm taking the plier, I'm taking the screwdriver, and I'm trying to bend the screwdriver with the plier. You understand what a plier is, right? Those tongs that you use to hold or press onto a metallic wire or something of that sort, right? That tong. Now imagine I have that tong, I have a screwdriver, and what I'm doing is I'm taking the plier and trying to crush the screwdriver with it. What will be your opinion about a person who does that? He knows Python, he knows stats, right? He knows every technical skill there is to know. But the problem is, he can't solve a problem. That is the problem, right? So that's where I emphasize on this particular workshop the most. It's like one of the most value-adding things that can happen to you. And it's not just from data science perspective, but in general in life also. This is like a crash course for you to understand how to provide value, right? And that's how you get the right job. That's how you get the right client. That's how you do the right parenting even, right? So let's not get distracted and come back to the consulting world, right? So in consulting universe, why I'm talking about consulting is basically because we have already established that problem solving is the key. If you can't solve a problem, then the client might as well tell you to fuck off, right? And sorry about my language there, but I think that's the best way I could represent it. That if you can't solve a problem, client doesn't give a damn about what you know. So what happens? And the same thing holds true for your job also, right? So what happens is that in consulting universe, I will give you like a overview of how business world works from a consulting point of view, because that's where analyzing information and making decision comes into play. It's a part of this overall process. So what happens is that there is a business need, right? Whenever you will do a project, whenever you will do any kind of service for someone, of course, there's going to be a business need, right? The business need could be competitive, that, hey, Hero MotoCorp is suddenly saying that Bajaj Auto is capturing a lot of market share. I don't like it. Do something about it, right? It could be organizational, that, hey, there is a huge churn rate, or there is a huge drop-off rates of employees in their training program at one of the chemical manufacturer firms, right? It could be the problem. It could be financial need, that we have targets to increase our margin by 1%. It could be operational need, that our customer care team is trying to call people up and there is a very high rate of people who are not responding to our calls, right? It could be any problem of that sort. I've just taken random examples, but what I'm saying is that whatever you work on, whatever value you try to deliver to any business client or any company, being a data science consultant, it is going to have a business need as the root of the whole thing, or as the seed of that entire engagement or problem is going to, in that seed, there's going to be a business need. Do you guys understand till now? Any doubts, any questions? Anyone wants to unmute and discuss on anything, you're free to do so. I'll give you 10 seconds to do that. Ask any question, guys. Remember, in Zorba's sessions, no question is a stupid question. So ask away if you have anything in your head. Nothing? Sure? All right. Now, let's try to understand that a business need arises, right? And from that business need is basically you frame a problem, right? Like you have a business need, based on that business need, you have a problem. That problem is what you will be sharing with potentially a consultant or someone who's going to solve that problem for you. And this triangle in between is where the entire game for a data scientist comes into play. Or not just a data scientist, any consultant, right? Just want to always make that clear so that you have like a generic understanding, not just about data science, but about the inside of the whole consulting universe. So in this triangle, right, from between a problem and a solution, there are three important things. The first thing, which is basically the focus for us, is analyzing, right? And that analyzing part is where the entire data science comes into play. So intuition and data, a combination of intuition and data is what is used to eventually come up with a solution for that problem, right? Now, analysis of the problem has like framing, designing, data gathering, interpretation, all of that. Then there is one component. While you do that, you have to ensure a management component of team, client, and yourself, right? So that's another critical component that comes in there. And then comes the presenting part of it, which is basically what we are going to discuss eventually in communication and stakeholder management session on day 4. So basically you analyze the problem, while analyzing the problem, while handling the project, you have to manage the team, you have to manage the client, you have to manage yourself and your time. And you have to then, at the end of that, present the whole thing in a structure so that everyone understands and take their buy-in, right? Convince everyone that, yeah, this is the solution. And all through this, right? Like all these 3 vertices of this triangle, right? At the center of it lies that interplay between intuition and data. So all this while you know that even when you solve a problem using data, there's still a lot of intuition that goes in. And this entire process will yield you a solution, and that solution will then be shown to leadership if it aligns with their vision, and then they will put up something from their experience to modify into that solution, and then that will go into implementation. Do you guys understand this entire cycle, how typically consulting universe works? Why it is important to know that, or know this thing, is because we already saw in the webinar, right, that data comes at a very later stage. And this maturity to understand that even before getting into data, the major thing at hand is solving the problem. The main thing is not creating a model. The main thing that data scientists need to focus on is solving the problem. Now, let me discuss a little bit more about intuition as Parimal is requesting that. So Parimal, intuition, by the way, is not something that we want to go too much into detail about here. But when I say intuition, I'm talking about solving the problem. Like solving the problem, basically assessing what could be the solution of the problem, right? So what happens is that, let's say I'm talking about the fact that, hey, let's see, I have data about all the customers for Vodafone, right? And I have all the data and I want to do some cross sell to the customers, right? Now, when I want to do the cross sell, intuition is what the intuition is basically something that will help me to create or to basically figure out what things I want to try in the first place. When I say what things I want to try, is basically that, okay, maybe I can have an intuition, I can have an hypothesis that people who are using or who are basically postpaid customers, not all of those postpaid customers actually require the plans that they have. That is an intuition that I have, thinking that, many a times people buy some subscription based services thinking that they want to use it and they need to use it every time and every day. And when they do it, they are all in like full swing, like joining a gym, right? That, hey, what could go wrong? Let me take for an entire year. Let me take a 2-year membership. There is 50% discount. And the intuition probably can help you understand this thing, what I'm telling you, right? This is based on intuition and my understanding of behavior of a customer, that I'm saying that based on that, I'm saying that probably Vodafone will have a lot of people who actually do not need the plan that they are on, right? So what could we do? If Vodafone says that, hey, I want to increase my revenue, one of the options based on intuition, what I could tell them is that, hey, you want to increase your revenue? I have an alternative approach to this. And the approach is first to retain your customers by reducing their bill cost. Now, this is my intuition, right? This is my experience that I'm using here. How? Because I'm coming up with a strategy without any data. What I'm saying is that what we will do is that many customers who feel that you are charging them high, there is only a small fraction of customers who will actually call you and tell you my pricing is too high, I want to reduce it, before actually switching to some other operator. Right or wrong? All of this is intuition, right? But do you think that it could be right that not every customer, if he feels that his bill with you is higher, not every customer is going to call the company before changing the plan? He will just right away port to other operator without telling you. There will be a lot of people like that. Guys, yes or no? Again, intuition, right? This is all intuitive thing that I'm talking about. This is purely intuition. Now, what I'm saying is I keep moving ahead with this intuition. So I say that, hey, to actually keep our customers from switching, why don't we ourselves go in front of the customer and tell them that, hey, Sai Kumar, you know what's happening? You've taken a postpaid plan with us and you're paying us 1,099 rupees every month. And you have about 50 GB or 40 GB of data in that plan. But I'm consistently looking at this. Now see how data merges with intuition. But I'm consistently checking your data. And what I'm realizing is that 6 out of 8 months in the last period, I have seen that you have not used even 15 GB of your data. And then in the remaining 2 months also, you've not utilized the full 40 GB. You've only utilized 25 to 30 GB. So what I would suggest is, rather than 1099, I would want you to consider scaling down on your plan. Maybe you can take like a 899 plan with us, right? Just listen to it. Maybe you can take an 899 plan with us. It will have 25 GB of data available to you instead of 40. And right now, I see that in the entire year, there has been only 1 month when you have exceeded 25 GB of usage. So I think even if you end up exceeding that usage, still you will overall save on a yearly basis with us. Do you see how smoothly from one thought? And this is all, Tarun, as you're asking, right? Intuition comes majorly from the experience. And then there is one component of it that comes from your feeling of what the future could be. It's like basically your prediction without actually looking at data, right? So, Parimal, I hope you're getting my point now, that how exactly I was talking about intuition getting connected with data. So, it could definitely agree with its loss. Like similar to if you talk about Reliance Jio, right? In real time, do you think that any business would make its entire offering more or less for free to the entire country, and that to a country of the size of India? There you have your answer. Why did it do it? That's the intuition and data combined. They knew, and you see it for yourself, right? Today, Reliance Jio is close to the biggest player in the country. Airtel spent 25 years reaching where it is, and Jio is there in what, 5 years? Did you use the Jio SIM for the first time, what, in 2014 or 15? It was 2015, right? So in 5 years, Jio has come from zero to the level where it is today. And that's the game. That what no one else could think about doing, Jio did. It's much beyond intuition, right? That is why Ambani is Ambani. That's why Reliance is one of the greatest businesses in the country and in fact in the world, right? So I hope that intuition and data combination, I think you guys would have gotten clear with. Now, the point I was trying to make is that this is the overview of how a consulting industry look, right? Or how typically in any service industry, how the problem is solved, how the whole process moves.